Hello, 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 and welcome everybody to another Capital Gains Tax Solutions Mastermind, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the deferred sales trust is an amazing way for you to exit highly appreciated assets, defer millions of dollars of capital gains tax, unlock freedom and flexibility to make an impact with your wealth. Hey, my name is Brett Swartz, and each and every Friday, except for last Friday, we were off. We're typically here, and we're talking about ways to use the DST and other tax deferral strategies when exiting highly appreciated assets. So again, you can create and preserve more wealth. Hope your clients, friends, and family do the same. When we talk about live deals, we talk about challenges, we talk about deals that didn't work out, we talk about deals that we wish could have worked out, and we just try to share our journey along the way in this ever-changing environment. As of yesterday, the Feds basically announced that they're not planning on raising rates or raising the benchmark, which in fact affects rates. And so lots of changes going on even right now, and people are wondering, what can I do if I'm going to exit? What kind of tax am I facing, and what are ways to be flexible? And so today's topic to start us off is 10 plus freedoms of the DST you must know. Okay. And so I'm going to do this kind of rapid fire, and we're going to kind of dive deep on a few of them, giving our time period. But what are the 10 plus freedoms that you must know with the DST? Number one is 1031 exchange freedom. 1031 exchange freedom. This is the most common place people find us because they're feeling trapped by that 1031 exchange, or their clients are feeling trapped by that 1031 exchange, and they're just looking for freedom and flexibility, not having to force themselves into more debt, more toilets, more liability, more just active management of capital. In fact, I just got off a call with a client today who's been in the mobile home park business for over 20 years with her father and her brother. And she's going, you know what? I just want the opportunity to not have to be an active owner anymore, any more management, any more, just, she said, I was digging a ditch, 2 weeks ago. And she's just like, I'm just ready to be retired and just have some fun and be passive, which leads into the second freedom, which is location freedom. Not only does this person want to have 1031 freedom to not have to go into another property, and we call that the forced marriage, by the way, and we call it the shotgun wedding. You got to get engaged in 45 days, married in 180. She also wanted the ability to have location freedom. What that meant for her was traveling the world, but also moving out of the state in which she resided, because guess what? There's other places people want to visit. I mean, my family and I, we just moved out of California to Florida. And part of that was the location freedom and the ability to travel and experience new things versus being tied down to that property or that asset and feeling like you can't sell because it's producing cash flow. But if you sell, you're going to pay the tax and have as much cash flow. And so understanding that the deferred sales trust provides 1031 freedom plus location freedom is incredible, which leads into the third freedom. And that would be retirement freedom. So a lot of people, they buy real estate as a way to create passive income, right? Passive income. And that passive income or financial freedom typically is defined as enough passive income to offset my active working hours. In other words, it's providing freedom of my time. It's freeing up my time and my energy to pay for my living expenses plus margin and my lifestyle. That's considered some financial freedom for many people, and I like that definition. But what happens when that financial freedom is also taking up a lot of your time, right? So you want to retire from the active day-to-day, or the DST can provide that freedom by not only receiving the capital, but allowing a group of a team to help manage the capital into investments that produce a passive income stream to you, which leads to the next freedom, which is estate tax freedom. If you're ultra high net worth, or your clients are, and that's basically 10 million married as of 2026, you have a death tax problem. A death tax problem is not solved by a stepped-up basis, and so you're going to want to use the DST. You must know that it can eliminate the estate tax, which is incredible. There's $84 trillion that's passing in the next 20 years. This is known as the largest wealth transfer in the history of the planet. And if you don't have a plan for your tax at death, Guess who does? And it's the IRS, and they want to gobble up 40% of anything that's above those exclusion amounts. So step number one, know what your exclusions are, or amounts are. Two, know how much is inside of your taxable estate. And three, immediately build a capital gains tax and estate tax plan, because we never know when something can happen. And if something happens, the government is gladly going to take 40%. So there's definitely some freedom there with the DST that you must know about, which leads into the next freedom. Which one I want to talk about? The entrepreneurial freedom. This is a cool one, right? Because a lot of people go, well, is the DST just for passive? Am I giving up all this control and all of this options for me to build wealth? No, it's not. You can also be an entrepreneur. You can partner with the trust. This is the coolest part of the DST to me, for me, at least for where I'm at and for most of my clients, is that you can partner with the trust. You can still buy active real estate. You can buy businesses. You can lend on the funds. You can really, like do what my client Shay did. He sold his business, multi-million-dollar business, deferred the tax, and he used the funds to build 72 multifamily units in Tennessee with a partner with him. And the trust put up a lot of the funds for that venture. So you don't have to be just completely passive or retired. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a real estate entrepreneur, which leads into the next freedom, which is diversification. In fact, I'm bringing Jake Carpenter for this one. Jake, talk about the power of having freedom to know that your funds are diversified and not forced into one single asset class at one single time.
Yeah, that's a powerful one, because a lot of individuals come to us with a very large sale of an asset that's very concentrated. It's either in one business or one real estate project. It's located in one area of the country and one asset class, which could be multifamily or a service-based business. Now we're able to sell the business or the real estate and diversify both geographically in different parts of the country and through different asset classes, as well as potentially the traditional stuff like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So it gives you the ability, I call it three-dimensional diversity, right? Diversity in geography, diversity in asset class, and diversity tax-wise. You already mentioned it, where you can take some of it and actually partner up with your trust, go into a new actively managed real estate project, and reset your depreciation schedule.
Very well said, Jake. I also want to add to that. You might have mentioned it, but diversification of time, right? We call this, some people know this as dollar cost averaging. We know it as a sell high, buy low with real estate is, when the deals make sense, when the cash flow makes sense. And you can diversify when you place these longer term investments. Different investments have different time horizons, and the trust gives you that flexibility. You must know that it gives you the freedom and flexibility to invest when it makes sense. When it makes sense. And that's different for everybody based upon your risk tolerance, and it's different for each asset class. So I love the way you put that, Jake. You said diversity of geography, diversity of asset class. Diversification is so important in today's environment. The next freedom I'd like to talk about, and I'll bring in Rebecca for this one, is the freedom of debt. The freedom of debt. Rebecca, talk about how restrictive or how even just scary debt can be, right? If you have too much debt and it's the interest rates have doubled, and all of a sudden you're feeling like this pressure and this weight on your shoulders. What could that mean if you have freedom from debt, Rebecca?
Oh gosh. So if you have freedom from debt, you can definitely move on and do some great things with your lifestyle, semi-retire if you want. There's so many different options. You also can wait, not only with huge debt, but if you sell that property, you can then use the time freedom to then sit and wait. And, they're saying interest rates are going to go down at some point, right? They got to at some point. So then, gives you that time horizon again to sit and wait and move on and reinvest in a year or 2 years or 6 months, whatever the timing might make sense for you. So
absolutely. Yeah, well said. I also, when you're saying that, I'm also thinking about a couple things, right? I'm thinking about smart debt and, let's say, dumb debt. I'm also thinking about good debt and bad debt. And it kind of brings back to the diversification of timing. there's times to go all in and buy and go into debt because you got such a nice deal, but there's times to get out of that debt as fast as you can because it's poisoning the deal, right? We're seeing that happen with these adjustable rate mortgages, and where the debt was very favorable, the deal was a great deal. Now the debt's gone bad, right? It's gone bad because it's gone up. And now it's not cash flowing, and now it's poisoning the deal, right? And so the ability to be out of debt is one of the freedoms that you must know with the DST, because upon the sale of the asset, you do not have to do equal or greater value or equal or greater debt, which is what the 1031 blockbuster method forces you to do. So we want you to be out of debt, debt-free. We call it the Dave Ramsey debt-free exit plan strategy, where you do not have to be in debt. You can be completely out of debt, which is amazing, right? Versus having to stay in that debt. And it could also mean for the business that you're selling that you have debt on. It could mean the primary home, the luxury primary home you're selling, you have debt on, and you have all the capital gains tax. And I've heard stories of people that have a lot of money but they don't have active income, and so the lenders, because of the new rules, won't lend up until a certain point, and all kinds of stuff. You can't cash out refi certain deals because I'm not sure if you can service the debt, even though you've been worth a lot of money, but it's not active on your on your tax return. All kinds of just nonsense where this debt seems to like just hold people hostage to what they want to do. The DST, you can sell. You're not hostage to the debt, staying in the debt, or jumping through all the hoops, which leads into the next freedom. Let's see here. Partnership freedom, right? Jake, tell me. There's got to be people who sometimes they want to get out of partnerships. Life changes, seasons change. You have kids, you don't have kids, you have grandkids, you don't have grandkids. You want to retire and travel. Your wife wants to travel. Your husband wants to do something else. You want to move locations. All of a sudden, what you thought was an amazing marriage of a partnership needs to be broken up. But guess what's standing in the way? Selling that asset and, breaking the partnership up, or B, paying the capital gains tax. So talk about the painful, forced partnerships that sometimes are just ready to move on.
Yeah, not all partners are created equal, right? Some of us are younger and partnering with older folks, and some of us are older partnering with younger folks. I see it all the time. We can talk about real estate with 1031 exchanges and how all the partners have to pretty much move in tandem unless you go through a little bit of acrobatics a year before the sale and try to do what we call a drop and swap. But this strategy with the deferred sales trust, you can use this to separate partnerships outside of real estate altogether. So maybe you've got three partners and one wants to sell his interest and the other two want to stay. The deferred sales trust allows you to sell your business interests, defer the capital gains tax on your portion, go do something totally different. You can go passive, all passive. If your partners, want to be active and you want to be passive, you can go passive for a few years till the kids are graduated high school and in college, and then you can go active after that. But this is a beautiful way to actually separate from a partner or a couple of partners and go your own direction and do your thing without having to trigger a tax bill.
You nailed it, right? In fact, I'll give you a deal that we closed, $13 million car wash sale in San Diego. These gentlemen, I went to school in San Diego, and we'd always like to find it was the contest who found the best taco or burrito place, and it was always this debate. Well, these guys would drive by this place and they'd love the tacos. This guy had a 2-acre land, just like this small taco stand. And a building, still a building, but they say this is 2 acres just sitting here. And they approach the guy and they go, "Hey, we like your food and we like to eat here, but what we like to really do is partner with you." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We got all this land. How about we do a joint venture partnership where you throw in the land and we're going to build a car wash?" And he goes, "Oh no, that means I'm going to shut down my taco stand. This is what I want to do." And he's like, No. This is the beauty. We're going to put the burrito taco place inside of the car wash. And we'll actually 10x your business on that, A, and then B, it'll give our people who are getting their car washed something to eat and do. And we'll have a TV with the game on, soccer game on, and we'll have, the food going, and they'll get their car washed. And he's like, "Sweet, I'm in." Anyway, so they do the deal. In fact, he ended up not throwing the land in. He just wanted to be cashed out, but he wanted to have the guarantee of the lease inside of the building. So they gave him that. But anyways, four guys bought 2 acres in Chula Vista, San Diego area of California, and they built it for about 4 million all in with the land and the building, and they sold it for $13 million, right? So this is Taxifornia, right, where I'm from, and the simple math is about 37% of the gain is going to be taxed, or 40%. Now here's the reality. There's four partners. One, they've been in partners for a long time. One of them, he just wanted to be cashed out and pay his tax, right? The other three were not sure quite what to do with the money. They knew they didn't want a 1031. This happened about 2 years ago because they knew the market was pretty highly priced. And guess what? They're in the business of buying land and developing, developing car washes or gas stations. They're not in the business of buying $13 million pieces of property. And so it was perfect because it was a seamless separation between the partnership. They were able to sell the asset. The one partner just paid his tax, and the other three just went into their own individual deferred sales trust. They also have different risk tolerances. They have different lifestyles, and they have different needs for the cash. Instead of forcing a $13 million exit, taking on a bunch of debt, overpaying for a property, and having to keep everyone together, each of them were able to do exactly what they wanted to do. Now, here's the cool thing. They can still partner together. But guess what? One of them might have 4 million in a trust. The other have about 2 in the trust. They may want to partner, but they want to maybe part with $500,000 each on a deal. It doesn't have to be the full amount of the 100% of their equity, right? So they can still partner with one another, all tax deferred with the trust, without having to, suffer the tax consequences. And so I don't know how many freedoms that is now, but that's a lot for today, everybody. So why don't we move to some questions? We have Peter. We have, I think it's Enya. That's how you pronounce it. Or you but unmute or say hello. I probably butchered that name. Micah.
Ina.
Ina, nice to meet you. Where are you calling from? I think it's the first time I've seen you on here. So unless I missed you last time, but where are you calling from?
I'm calling from St. Petersburg, Florida.
I'm going to be there on Monday.
Are you?
Oddly enough, I'll be shooting a video with Mr. Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, if you happen to know Kevin. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're shooting a video with him.
Yeah, we're shooting a video. We're gonna do it. We'll see where that goes. But enough about me and St. Pete's. What about you? What are you doing to help your clients? Looks like you're a realtor. I see there on the screen.
Yeah. So I come to you because my friend Rebecca here. We're in a what would you call that? We are becoming
mastermind.
Yes, something like that. We're in a way to get our coaching to take our business to the next level.
Cool.
And so I heard her speak about something and I was like, wait a minute, I got to contact her. What is that? I work with a lot of individuals who are buying second home, vacation homes. We're talking folks that have quite a bit of money. And I work with a lot of people who, $400,000, $500,000 is the average home purchase right now in this area. But I heard her talk about it and I was like, this could be something I could talk about or help my clients or push them towards, because they're always talking about what are they doing with this extra money they have. So they buy second homes, they buy some investment properties. And that's how I found you, through Rebecca.
Cool. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for bringing in some more people to join us. Rebecca, add any of that?
We are working we have similar clientele, but in different sides of the country. So, working to figure out additional tools that we can use when working with buyers and sellers in our community. So, super excited. The huge second home market around the corner from you now. So, not too far from you there, where you're living in Florida, but yeah.
Yep. So. Absolutely. Well, good to meet you. And thanks, Rebecca, for bringing recommending and bringing her in here. So that's cool. Well, all right. Any questions so far? I mean, you're still learning. This would be good. Anything that comes up to mind, anything we just said, or anything that kind of stuck out, you think it would fit for some of your clients? Like, wow, I think they would love that freedom. Any of the freedoms that I talked about that stick out?
All of it sounds great. I mean, who doesn't want freedom, right? From everything. So the thing that is sticking out for me is like, how do I practically tactile? Like, I want to know how to take this information, package it in such a way that I start speaking to my community about this in an intelligent way. That's really my purpose. I want to learn about this, really understand it. I'm not going to be the expert in this. That's what you are. But I can drive these people to your store and help them that way. And then what that does for me and like someone like Rebecca is it makes us super like, these are the people you want to be helping you. And it encourages us to really sort of move out into the community of these types of individuals. And that's really what I want to know is what is that 1, 2, 3 bullet point things I can do, say, understand about this? Because I've never heard of this before. And in the few days that Rebecca and I have just spoken about it, I have actually talked to some investor folks, some people who are financial advisors that I know. And I'm telling you, there is a huge void. Like they don't, like you're a financial advisor and you don't know about this. I did a quick search on LinkedIn. I think there were maybe 8 different people that had it actually in their headliner. And I was like, oh, okay. So here are some people of all of the millions of people that are out here. There's 7 people right here on LinkedIn that actually have it in their headliner. That means that if I was looking for it on LinkedIn, those are the 7 people I might go to talk to. So there's not a lot of information about it. And I think that's really my thing is like, how do I work this properly to benefit?
Yeah, it sounds like you want to be able to communicate it properly and be able to try to help some people out with the strategy because it can provide those freedoms. Yeah, so the simple answer is by a gentleman named Russell Brunson. He talks about hook story offer, right? Hook story offer.
Yeah.
And there's a hook that you want to throw out, and the hook could always typically be centered around pain or desire, right? So what is the pain? And we talked about a lot of the pains with people with 1031s, with debt, location, with toilets, trash liability. And so always start with something like that. And as you're talking with your clients or potential clients, we should always be listening, as a doctor would listen for symptoms of challenges, right? And see how we might be able to help solve that. And so start with a simple listening, and you might already have been, I'm sure you have because you're in the industry, you kind of already know their pain points, and you start throwing out the hooks like, hey, are you considering selling a business, cryptocurrency, or real estate, and are tired of the limited 1031 options or the huge capital gains tax? Are you feeling trapped by capital gains tax? What would it mean to be able to sell that primary luxury home in Naples for $30 million that you've owned for 20 years and have a huge capital gains tax and eliminate your estate tax? What would it mean to be able to have a backup plan in case your 1031 failed? What would it look like to be able to negotiate on your own terms, not having to be forced into a 1031 deal that you don't want to buy? These are all things that you can, throw out these little hooks, either on a video that you're making or on an Instagram post or LinkedIn post, and then you tell a story. And the cool thing is, as you come here, we're going to tell you the stories, right? And you could phrase it like, hey, a story I heard recently is however you just start telling the story. A gentleman that bought a car wash or built a car wash in San Diego for 13 million and had a 40% tax, and they had a partnership challenge. They wanted to kind of separate the partnership somewhat. And now that's a story, right? You're diving into what actually happened, and they deferred, I'll give you the numbers. Basically, they were in it for 4 million. They sold it for about 13. So you do the math, 13 minus 4, you're looking at $9 million. And on $9 million, 37% is the minimum. That's basically $3.3 million tax. So that's the story. Sold it for this, had this amount of tax, and now they deferred it, and they separated the partnership, and they didn't have to 1031 overpay, right? And then you make the offer. Hey, if you want to learn more, DM me for more information or send me an email back for more information. I'll be talking about this more and more. Happy to help, right? Something like that. That would be a hook story offer scenario. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Yeah, it makes sense. And yep. and that's what I need, because social media is where you're reaching so many people. It's so worth it. And that's what I really like. Give me the playbook and I'm in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you start making the videos, right? The first time I got on the video, I think video is the most powerful way to do this.
Of course. Absolutely.
You bring the emotions out. And so if you're not already doing that, just start doing that. And then just start making one video a day with that. Rebecca, any other tips on that? I mean, Rebecca, by the way, is one of our top luxury strategic alliances in Lake Tahoe and Truckee area. So any thoughts on that, Rebecca?
Just connecting and talking to people as much as you can. about it. You never know who you're going to run into that will be interested in it. And I've, told friends who own automobile services, they originally started out as a mechanic and now they own 3 different shops, things like that. And it's like, okay, when you're getting ready to think about selling them, or, you want to move on and do something different, let's talk. And in the meantime, I'm filling them in on additional information. So.
Yeah, you want to become more. You guys ever see the Batman, right? When he's like the first Batman Begins, and he's like, you must become more than, an idea or whatever, right? You must become an idea or something, right? The whole concept is like, as a real estate professional, that's what I am as well. I started out, and I still am. I'm with EXP Commercial and sell multifamily properties for our clients. I found that I had to become more than just the 1031, right? I had to become more than just I'll help you sell for the highest price and the best terms. I'll look out for you and represent you with great marketing in negotiation. Like, okay, that's really good. And you probably are one of the best, but there's something that comes down to the bottom line of tax. People hate tax, right? And so I had to become more than just that person, right? And that also meant I wasn't just focused on the real estate. I was focused on their overall wealth planning. I focused on their overall freedoms that they desire. It wasn't just about, oh, are you buying or selling an asset? Let me help you. It was like, hey, how can I help you get freedom to spend more time with your family? How can I help you get freedom to travel and do more things that you want to do? How can we help you diversify so you can sleep better at night without having a bunch of debt? How can we help you make an impact and leave a lasting legacy with your wealth? Now, our skill set is what's going to help you get there with the product, which is the deferred sales trust. But you, as that person, should be aligning with what they really want. And that starts by listening and just connecting with them, right? And just saying, "Oh, wow, I don't sell businesses, but I can help someone who does that, right? I sell real estate, and but I work with someone who can. I'm not a CPA, but I work with someone who can help you defer capital gains taxes, and just being that trusted source that is proactive enough. And then it's just telling that story of like someone in their exact same, similar fact pattern and how they were able to use whatever, the DST to help them unlock the freedom that they still desire. And then when they make that connection, and of course, bring them on the mastermind or set up a call. Who does this work for? Anyone who has any asset of any kind that has at least $1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain. It could be cryptocurrency, it could be business, it could be, we do dentists, car washes, orthodontist. We've done car dealerships, we've done real estate companies, tech companies, correct for stock, public or private. It just needs to be a big enough net proceeds, a big enough gain, which is basically $1 million and $1 million. Unless it's a primary home, then we basically need like a 2 million and a 2 million because they have what's called that 121 exclusion, which is great, but it's it cuts into the basis. And so we found that's a good number for primary homes. But other than that, that's it. And then it's just repetition, right? And I think also it's important to focus on like going all in on one strategy. I was talking with the Strategic Alliance today, Ashcroft Capital, who we worked with, and they do the best ever real estate conference and the best ever real estate podcast, one of the best in the country. And I was saying how we should focus like a laser on one strategy and see if we can align for a year and just see where it goes. And they're excited about that. And I'm going to talk with them more about that. But I think too, you've got to focus like a laser and go all in on one strategy, whether it be the deferred sales trust or if it's the 1031 or whatever you're going to choose it and go all in for 3, 6, 12 months and just make content centered around that and share your journey of all the questions. That's basically how I got started with my podcast and how I got started with the book, how I got started with this mastermind is just sharing the journey and just showing up every day saying this can change your life. It can change your life for your clients and for you, but you've got to share the story, right? Share the objections, share the challenges, and share the transformation. And when people see that, they go, wow, okay. Not only do you care about what you do, but then B, you have the expertise to help people navigate through this. So, Michael, you want to add into that? You see popping in and out there, and it's good to see you, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was going to chime in a little bit just where it does make sense when maybe somebody might be sitting on the fence if they're saying, I could sell, or it really doesn't bother me to not sell. But then, you it really kind of helps push them over that edge and be like, okay, if you get rid of that sting on the tax side, it really makes it more appealing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, right? It helps to have an extra 30 to 50% more. I mean, that's just bottom line number, right? And it's powerful when people see that, and then they use the law of compounding interest. Jake, talk about the law of compounding interest. If you could have an extra 30 to 40%, and we're running a marathon, Jake, and you give me a 30% head start, right? On a $10 million exit on a 26+ mile run, right? What are the odds you're going to catch me, or I'm going to catch you if you got that leeway there?
Well, first of all, with the deferred sales trust comes a team, right? You got to choose your team. And this team that comes with the deferred sales trust, most of which all of us are on this this call right now. We're missing Jake Miller, but our entire goal is to work together with your current planners, CPAs, attorneys, and help you invest in things that are going to outperform for the most part, traditional investments. So when you start taking a 30 to 50% haircut on the proceeds that you're investing, and you've got a team that can help you find good investments, whether active or passive, there is just no way you're going to catch up when you're taking a 30 to 50% haircut. Time value of money, quality of investments that the team's going to bring to the table, everything added up, this strategy is not a liability. And that's where most people make the mistake in the due diligence process of not making sure that their professionals engage and go through the entire due diligence process, because at first glance they go, oh, the fees are too much. This isn't going to work. The fees are too much. But they're not, because with everything that you potentially are paying, you're getting something in return. You're getting a team of quality professionals to work with your professionals to turn the deferred sales trust into an asset. Then you're going to get on the starting blocks of this marathon 30 to 50% ahead of everyone else. So it's just hard to beat it, hard to outrun it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Question.
Yeah.
So I'm just learning about this. So, I mean, this is probably like a very typical question maybe, but here I am. I've got a client. They are thinking of selling their home, or they're thinking of selling all their investment properties and traveling the world. Of course, it's the hook, it's the story, it's the offer, but where do you get connected? How do you get connected? How do you make money? Like, what's the driver here? So I can see the process happen.
Yeah. So you just send an email. So you connect all of us in an email, just like you would do like a referral for real estate, right? Brett at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. And you just say, hey, Brett, here's my client. And you give me the basic facts. Like, they're selling the building for property for $5 million. Their basis is $1 million. Their debt is $2 million, like just the basic bare bones. And they're interested in interested in what your service has to offer for their capital gains tax exit planning, something along those lines, just something simple.
Yeah.
And then we all jump on a Zoom call for 30 minutes to qualify to see if it's going to be a decent fit. If they wanted to spend all of the money on a primary home, anything that's personal would be taxable, right? So if they go, Brett, they need it all to go buy their primary home, well, then it's not a good fit, because we can't defer into primary homes, right? If they can live off the interest and use that to spend on their primary home, the interest payments, right, and pay tax on that, that's fine. So we're just going to do some qualifying questions about, hey, what do you want to do with the money? What's your plan? What do you want, right? And how painful is tax? I have some people that, have $1 million in tax and they're like, nah. Some people are like, oh, I can't even imagine, right? So we want to make sure that there's enough pain and motivation that they actually, don't want to pay down the $33 trillion so of debt of the government, right? So I think that's the first step. The process is pretty simple. We work on a conditional basis, which means if they don't want to use the trust, or the deal doesn't close, they're not obligated to use it or pay us anything. we only get paid at the close of escrow, kind of like you get paid a commission. You only get paid if it closes. So we have what's called a conditional engagement agreement, which is kind of like a listing agreement, which basically gives us the opportunity to work with their CPA, you as the realtor, anyone, if it's an M&A attorney or whoever, to structure and build the trust, build the plan, and insert it as an option for the client to use. Then we open up accounts like a Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, used to be TD Ameritrade, typically, or a bank. And then we work with the financial advisor, someone like a Jake Carpenter, Jake Miller, and we diversify the wealth into different assets. It can be real estate, it can be securities, and that's kind of the full circle there. And then as they receive payments, they pay tax. But in this scenario, they've got, hopefully an extra 30 to 50% more that is working for them versus just paying it.
Right. You probably want to add that you're the trustee on the whole thing. I haven't completely filled Ina in on the whole process. So
there's a couple parties. So there's a financial advisor, there's a trustee, there's a tax attorney. Okay. There's also a third-party tax preparer for the trust. And then there's the note holder. So my role is a third-party unrelated trustee. I'm sort of like either the quarterback or the offensive coordinator for the whole strategy to get everybody organized and hopefully all dance into the same tune and rhythm, right? And then the tax attorney does all the legal work, lifetime audit defense. By the way, if you're wondering, this has now had thousands of closes, or close to 30-year track record. The most important number is 24 no change IRS audits. So it's batting 1,000. It's perfect, which comes to the question, well, why doesn't everyone do this or everyone know about this? I had this question again today. I get it every day. Like, it's a good question. First answer, I said, you haven't met us yet. You got to hire the who, don't be the how. And by that, I mean, we just have spent so many hours and hours and hours and hours with this strategy and executing it. It's until you know us and know how to do it, it seems like it's too good to be true. But it is true. It works as long as you work it the way that it's been designed to work. So the second answer is the tax attorney and us. We don't want to give out our secrets just to anybody because people can steal the secrets, but B, they can abuse it. And when they abuse it, it could ruin it for all of us. So we've got to make sure we stay to the letter of what the tax attorneys laid out for us. And also, there's a lot of people who don't want you to know about it. Like a lot of QI companies, they want you to stay in a 1031 exchange. That's what they make their money on. There's a lot of real estate companies that don't want their agents talking about it because the financial advisor gets to manage the money or the trustee gets to manage the money, right? So they don't get paid. So you can't blame them. They're not excited to all of a sudden not have the capital for them to get paid on. And I'm speaking as a commercial real estate broker myself, right? So there's that tension there. But if you have an abundance mindset and you say, you know what? It's going to help more people, which is going to give me more referrals and more listings. And also the trust can still you can still represent your clients through the trust, partnering with them to buy an asset. It actually doesn't stop it. It's just different than what we just think it has to be a 1031, has to be a 1031. So I know that's more than you asked for there, but hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Cool. Mike, what other questions? All right, we got to Jake. Jake hasn't talked in a little while. Jake, what thoughts or questions at this point should we address here?
Yeah, one of the questions Ina was asking was fees. So let's talk about that a little bit. If you have a $2 million deal, $2 million of net proceeds into the trust, the first $1 million, you're going to pay a 1.5% fee. So that's $15,000. On each additional $1 million above the initial $1 million is going to be charged at 1.25%. If it's a huge deal, sometimes it's somewhat negotiable. But that fee, that $15,000 on the first $1 million and $12,500 on the other $1 million, that pays for the setup of the trust, the attorney fees, lifetime audit defense, and then there's some ongoing fees for the trustee and the financial planner like myself. Those fees, the ongoing fees, generally don't exceed 2%. So Brett might charge 1%, I might charge 1%, but it won't exceed 2% ongoing. So someone might say, hey, I've got $2 million in the trust. We would assign an interest rate to the note. So that $2 million, let's say we assign a 6% payout rate, interest rate on that note. So the original seller and note holder is going to receive $120,000 a year of income. That 120 is net of our 2%. So Brett and I and our team, we go out and we find an 8% yielding investment, and then our fees come out, and then 6% is netted then to the note holder themselves as income. If it's interest only, they're going to pay ordinary income tax rates on it. It can be structured to pay out some principal and interest, so it's a little bit capital gains and a little bit ordinary income. But that's kind of the overview of the bulk of the fees is the 1.5%, 1.25 above the million, and no more than 2% for Brett and the financial planner or investment advisor like myself.
Okay.
And of course, pretty much everyone involved, I believe, in our team is very real estate centric. So although I can invest clients in traditional stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and a lot of times they want to carry some dry powder. They want to carry some dry powder in cash so they can move on different kinds of investments. Traditionally, we're trying to go back into, for the most part, real estate assets or businesses, things of that nature.
Thank you. That's clear.
And then you get a full crash course here. You probably, hopefully it feels like a fire hose, because that's kind of what we do here. We kind of move fast and furious sometimes, but hopefully you keep showing up, and keep watching the videos, and you'll check out the book. You got to check out the book. We just hit #1 bestseller on Amazon a little while ago. Yeah. And
Double capital gains tax exit plan.
So on Amazon, you can check that out. And my entire story and how we came to be where we're at here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions. So excited for anyone who wants to check that out. Go to Amazon to pick up your copy. Also, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank's in the book, which is cool. We have Jake Miller in the book too, which is cool. And then I'll be shooting with Kevin on Monday. I'm hoping to build a Shark Tank Capital Gains Tax, like, cool joint venture partnership plan here. If Kevin would say, yeah, we'll see where it's going. But that being said, Micah, anything else to add right now? How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. So toss anything up here, or go ahead. Andy, you have something else, Anya? Did you have another question or thought?
It's Ina.
Okay. Sorry.
I know it's an unusual name, but
I'm thinking Enya, like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, she probably did your whole life. All the like calming music, right? My wife and I, before we were married, we would listen for study hour in San Diego in college. We'd put the music on, and she goes, "This song is forever etched in my brain." We would study for finals for hours and hours. We just put it on a loop. It was like the Gladiator one.
Oh my God.
Like the other Enyas. Anyway, sorry, enough about that, but keep going.
So, I love that you are a man of action. That's the way I am. And so is Rebecca. Most important to me would be, creating that sense of value and drawing for me in the way that I want to run this business that I have. Drawing these folks to me that are looking and listening to hearing these stories over and over. And now I have an audience that's asking me questions, getting those and getting you in the loop. And I guess the hope is that they would use me to expand in their real estate endeavors. That's basically what I'm hearing. So I create value. I draw attention. First, I have to tell the story. That is when you talk about being action oriented. That's what needs to happen, like right now. I need to have an understanding of the product, right, Rebecca? Understanding of the product, be able to intelligently speak something about it, share some stories. So that would be, yes, I can come back here every week. It seems like a long drawn out. I would love a crash course with you.
We have our coaching. So you can go to experttaxsacreds.com. And if you want to get like hands-on, one-on-one, and the webinars, the coaching, the funnels, the joint venture, I guess, marketing efforts, we've got all of that there. So yeah, if you're looking to accelerate this process and speed it up, in fact, Yeah. So that's that. So you can go to experttaxsecrets.com if you're interested in that for sure.
Experttaxcoaching.com.
Experttaxsecrets.com.
Secrets. Okay. Secrets.com.
Yeah.
Is that you?
That's me.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Hey,
All
Brett,
right. Go, Micah.
let me share my screen for a second.
Okay. Let's see if I can push the button here. Hold on.
You're gonna have to tell me how much somebody's going to be saving in tax.
Make co-host.
First.
Okay. Go ahead. You should be able to do it now.
All right. Are you seeing my screen right now?
Yes.
Calculator one. Okay. So give me an amount. What would you say that somebody is deferring from their capital gains issue?
Well, if it's $1 million sale, is that what we're talking about here?
Mhm.
So let's say it's $1 million exit. Let's say they're deferring 35%, so 350,000.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got what you're saying. This is post close. How much? Okay, got it. Yeah,
Right.
we deferred 350. Okay, cool.
All right. So now they're gonna do like a 5%, just like super conservative and like a C,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And after 10 years of growth, it now goes to 50.
570, 113.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you're not taking out the 30% or the 40% or the 50%
Right.
too, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's compounding interest, time value of money. Right, exactly. We can net of fees return even just 5%. Your 350 is going to go to about 570. And how we define winning is basically we put the original amount in, we pay you all the cash flow. You look up in 10 years and you have still the original amount in, and you've lived off all the cash flow. So if you put $1 million in there, yeah, you're going to see that at 5%. It's what, $1.6 million at the end? Yeah, $1.628 million. If we could do 7% net of fees, right? You can see it's $1.96 million, which basically you double the amount. The rule of 72, you can compound over 10 years if you took no distributions. Yeah, this is the law, the seventh wonder of the world of compounding interest.
Right. I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun for me to be like, hey, let's see what it looks like.
I think it's great, Micah. Thank you for sharing. I think it's wonderful. You gotta know the numbers, right? You gotta underwrite the model, underwrite what we're doing, and then underwrite the stuff that's the tangible numbers. Yeah, and understand how to do that. And by the way, I use the HP 12C. If you guys don't have this calculator, I highly recommend this one. This one's amazing. You can actually store numbers in here, and then you can, it's just an amazing calculator to be able to run those on the spot with people. And that's powerful to show it right on the spot. So I highly recommend the HP 12C, and you become proficient with that. That's kind of advanced, if you really want to geek out with me, but anyways, that's kind of cool. Rebecca, any thoughts? You're smiling over there. If you can hear me.
Geeking out. Love it.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, cool. I think it's been a great Friday, everybody. We got about 9 minutes. So today's Jake's birthday. Oh my goodness. Well, happy birthday, Jake. I'm figuring that's Jake Miller because you didn't put Carpenter, but
oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it's Jake Miller's birthday and he's out of cell reception for the day. I'm like, you go take it. Be away from cell reception.
That is good. And for those that know, Micah is Jake's amazing half. So they're married, which is cool. And they're out of Utah, and Jake is traveling the world these days. I'm in Manhattan today too, by the way, so I'm a little bit traveling too. So hopefully that's in the spirit of Jake's birthday and travel. That's where I'm at. Question? Thought?
International property, international assets, doesn't matter where. Is it anything?
So our DST is based on U.S. tax law. So somebody could be an international owner who owns real estate in the U.S., then we can help them. Help them a lot, actually. But this does not apply to property in other country if they're selling the property in the other country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Although Jake does a lot of international investments.
Yeah, and let me also clarify, once the funds are in the trust, it can invest into international stuff.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Where typically do like international?
My favorite place is Spain,
Nice.
Grand Cayman in Spain. I'm from Grand Cayman originally. So
Speak Spanish?
I do speak Spanish.
Awesome. So do Jake and I. We're both like bilingual.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Um,
Jake
how
is
does that happen?
in Colombia and right now he's in Mexico.
Okay, wonderful.
¿Dónde aprendiste?
Cuando yo tenía 13 años, yo tenía las ganas de aprenderla y me enfoqué en este lenguaje y lo hice.
Ya se puede.
That's cool. See,
I lived in Costa Rica for 2 months and that's where I got my base. But
Where in Costa Rica?
right between San Jose and San Joaquin.
Oh,
Heredia and San Jose.
wow, nice. I was in San Isidro for 4 months, and that's where I made the jump over the fence to speaking because I had it all here. Just
Me too.
yeah, you have to immerse yourself in the culture for just a few months, and then it's like boom, yeah, it's great.
Exactly.
I got a Spanish course here. This is cool. We can add it on. You never know what you're gonna get in these masterminds. A little bonus.
You know, one thing that I'm getting to understand is that, and I've learned this a long time ago, and then I forgot it a little bit, but it's that you never know who you're speaking to. And the beauty of, I just have started social media like in the last 4 months of like really digging into creating that as the new way, because you cannot, I mean, you can work the hard old hustle way like we used to, or you can use this technology, right? So I just started about 4 months starting to use technology and social media to reach new faces, new clients. You never know who is going to see or hear what you have to say. And even just someone's talking in front of you, like you cannot look at them and assume any amount of value to what they have in their bank account. I'm just blown away by that. So Rebecca, you and I have a lot of work to do. We do.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, it's been more than a pleasure. I've got 4 daughters, my wife, and then 1 baby boy. And now we have a boy dog now, by the way. So
Wait, you have 5 kids?
we have 5 kids.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
I think you're, I was going to say like you were 35, but when I hear 5 kids, I'm thinking you're probably maybe 40.
Yeah, I'm 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom and my brother and my family always says, my wife says I have good genes. We have good solid genes. So I'm grateful for my parents for the good genes. So, but no, it's really good. No, my point of all that was we've got I'm used to be hanging out with girls, which is cool. But that all the good things must come to an end. The baby boy came and the boy dog came. And Friday we're out of time here. So if you guys want to take action right now, by the way, if you're listening to this on the replay, appreciate it. Go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. If you want to get with Micah and Jake, you can go to strategictaxsolutions.com. If you want to get with Jake Carpenter, you can go to carpentercapital.llc. That being said, just mentioned you saw us on here, right? So we can all, help you out. We'd love to help you out. And then Rebecca, where can they find you at? I forgot about Rebecca.
Sure. So at RebeccaMunson.com.
Yeah.
MONSON.
Yeah.
Probably the easiest way.
And then check out the book on Amazon, Building Capital Gains Tax Exit Plan. Get that, check that out. That'd be great. Love the support. And then if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, rate, share it with somebody, all the cool things. And other than that, we will talk to everyone next week. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.